Right, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the FTB Sports Daily Transfer Show. You got myself, the Crazy Red Mank, and we got Sam with us today, Spurs fan. We're going to be going through the little Premier League transfer rumours that are out today.
We might be struggling.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you think? Is there a reason for that? Do you reckon it's down to COVID, people not wanting to spend money yet, or?
I just think at the moment there is probably just a lack of real credible things that's going to happen. I think what it is a bit of a domino effect. You get certain players moving and then it kind of creates others to move. But usually what you get is like, you just get a lot of rumours. You like agents trying to tout for players and all the rest of it. But I think a lot of people have probably cottoned onto that. So, it's getting the credible ones. I still think there's a lot of rumours. Like I was saying earlier, there's all sorts of things about, Son, Kane moving, and it's not going to happen in January, but these things might happen in the summertime. But it's just a funny old time of the year, funny old year that's just gone. So we'll see.
Yeah, I always feel like January is always the rumours get started ready for the summer. I don't think they are for January. It's all just prep, isn't it?
Yeah.
So going into the first one then, the first rumour, Jack Grealish to Man United. What do you make of this? Well, I mean, what kind of a signing would he be for United?
He'd be absolutely phenomenal. I've liked Jack Grealish for a long time now. As a Spurs fan, about 3 years ago, I think we were kind of like, touted about putting an offer in. I think we may have even put an offer in to Villa, somewhere around about the 25 million pound mark. Then he was probably a 22-year-old young player. He had all the talent then, but he's the reason, you get these players that get put in the media saying, they're not got their head quite screwed on. He's a bit of a playboy. He's doing this and doing that. He was just young. He was young. He was 21, 22. He's now at 25, and he's only just turned 25, September of last year. He's now at that level where he's indispensable to England, let alone bloody Villa, in my opinion. And for Man United to get him, he would be that player that, you could build your whole setup. And I'm talking about building a team around him. And even at somewhere like Man United, you kind of think, well, why would you build? He's that good. In my opinion, I think he's that good. So, if it was to happen, look out everybody else.
Yeah, do you think there is still that caution around him with his personal life, though? Because I know that Southgate he felt like he had to use him in the end, but he didn't want to pick him because of everything that was going on around him. And do you think that would have an effect?
He's 25. I go back to when I was 25. I was doing silly things. I know we've got all this pressure on these players to kind of, be role models, but they shouldn't be role models. They're doing stuff in the public eye. That's what it is. You're doing stuff in the public eye. I know there's almost like a pressure on them to have to live the right way and do the right things, but they're young. They're players who, they're on social media. They want to be out there. He's just a player that looks like he just wants to be out there. He looks like he enjoys his football. He enjoys his life. He's the big fish in a small pond at Villa, and he's got the talent to back it up. So I think you kind of almost like have to take a little bit into consideration when, Paul Gascoigne was in his pomp. There was all kinds of things going around him, and footballers back in the day, they did all kinds of stuff, and you almost have to cater for that, if that's the right phrase. But I've not seen too much recently to suggest that he's going off the rails and he's doing some really crazy stuff. He just needs a bit of managing, I think. If he goes to somewhere like Man United, the expectations on him, they'll talk to him as a club. They'll say, like, this is what we expect of you as a player. And provided he does that, I think you'll get a player there that you could have there for 10 years and he'll be a legend. I could see that happening.
Yeah. I kind of wonder how, if we did get him, I don't think we're going to, how he would fit in the team, because Solskjaer still doesn't trust one player to sit in. He still has to have his two players sitting in behind his furthest forward midfielder. So do you think he would then sit alongside Fernandes and have Pogba sitting deep? I don't think Pogba will be there, but
And the reason that right, so the reason I say about building a team around him is because at the moment, Jack Grealish at Aston Villa, although he's playing from the left, you can see that he's got the license to kind of have a free role. He pops up on the right, he pops up in the centre. You know, sometimes he's back in defence, he's picking the ball up. He just picks the ball up, and you get him the ball, he will do something no matter where he's on the pitch. He hardly gives the ball away. You know, he finds a pass. He's now getting goals to that. He's getting assists on top of that as well. He's getting in dangerous areas. He's creating chances. He's doing everything that's expected of him when he gets the ball. So when you give him the ball, particularly in dangerous areas, he's going to do something and create something. At Man United, I'd play him anywhere across that front three. I'd even play him as a number 10. I wouldn't drop him too far back as what Man United have done with Paul Pogba at times, because I think you're not getting him in dangerous areas of the pitch then. You need him higher up the pitch, but you can play him anywhere across that front line, from the right, from the left, centrally, but let him do his thing in those parts of the pitch. And as I said, he has to hurt you in the final third. He will hurt you in the final third.
Yeah, because I spoke to my mate the other day, another United fan, and he said, well, you got Fernandes that has started to unlock these teams. You saw that in, you know, like the 1-0 win you get against Wolves, where if Fernandes isn't there, you probably don't win that game. You probably draw it 0-0. But if you had Grealish next to Fernandes, you're opening little pockets everywhere that you'll get chances galore.
It's scary. It's for me. You don't necessarily have to play him centrally. Like I said, you could play him on the left side, and I've seen them try to do that with Pogba to kind of fit him into the Man United team at the moment, because you've got your McTominay, you've got your Fred, and then you've got your Fernandes. So Pogba doesn't really fit in that midfield, but they're trying to still get him in the team and maybe play him from the left. I think Pogba can do that because he did that when he was at Juventus, but he maybe wants to dictate the play a little bit more from central areas. Jack Grealish just wants to play football. He just wants to get the ball. As soon as you give him the ball, wherever it is, as I said, on the pitch, he does something. He does something ability-wise. He can't get the ball off him. I've watched him recently. He just don't get the ball, and he doesn't give the ball away very often. Not cheaply, anyway.
Yeah. No, he'd be a great signing. Just a comment there from Solo. Jack Grealish will be a phenomenal signing, but comes with baggage. But as a player, he will make any team better.
What baggage? I don't see baggage. I don't see any baggage.
I think there was there a news article about him about 3 weeks ago where he was pictured with a girl or something like that.
If we're going to start doing this about players who get pictured with girls, then like I said, this is what I'm saying. This happens all the time in football. Yeah. Players get caught in certain situations that might not be ethical to some people, but it's just that's the facts of it. There's loads of players that have done that previously. There are loads of players that are doing that now. There's loads of players that will do that in the future. If we're going to hold them up as role models and say you mustn't do this and you have to live like that, then we're going to have a hard time creating players of that type who's really creative, who has that imagination, who has that sort of ability. You're telling them you need to live like this and you can only live in this box. Taking away creativity from him. And I'm not saying he's going to go out and be found with 3 or 4 different women all the time. I'm not saying that that's what he should be, doing, and that's what he's getting caught for. But this baggage, I don't see it as baggage. I just see it as a 25-year-old doing things, and he's living in the public eye and probably gets caught out more times than not.
Yeah, it's difficult for players nowadays as well because
social media. Social media's killing them.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to say no on this transfer, but I would love it to happen.
What sort of money do you think he'd go for then?
We were saying off air. I think you said to me if Sanchez is worth 100 million, then Jack Grealish, you're looking at 160 mil.
And then I said, if you got him for 100 mil, it might sound daft, but I think that's a bargain. And the reason I say it's a bargain is because of the age he is. If he was a 30-year-old, you might not be thinking he's not Ronaldo sort of age. He's not Ronaldo or Messi sort of level who you would still consider maybe paying that sort of money. But even then, you got to think if you got him for 100 million and he was to be there for 5, 6, 7, 8 years plus, what you'd get back off him, I think you far outweigh that. Outweigh that transfer.
No, definitely. Right, so moving on to our next one then. This is I got to be honest, Julian Draxler to Leeds United. I'm not even sure on where he is at PSG at the moment.
Yeah.
I know that he hasn't been playing that much in the last couple of years. I think their midfield they got now. I think Herrera basically joined from United last year, and I think he's been playing most of the time ahead of him. So, but would he improve Leeds?
He would bring experience. The way Leeds play there, and I watched them obviously yesterday against Spurs, they're very high energy, very high octane. He gets them all to do the work that a lot of players maybe don't want to do, but they seem to do it. Julian Draxler I have not seen him play recently. I've not seen him around. So I don't know whether he's not at that same level, whether or not it's a work thing. I don't know what it is. But in terms of his quality, he kind of on the same sort of level as James Rodriguez is for Everton. He would bring that sort of quality to Leeds and maybe calm things down when they need it calmed down, get the ball to him, beat a player, move the ball on. So he could be kind of like that glue that kind of knits everything together. Whether or not he would then buy into Bielsa's ways of, high octane energy, you need to run. I don't know. I don't know enough about him to know if you do that. But if you're asking me, would he improve Leeds footballing wise? 100%, because they haven't got world-class players in their ranks. They've got very good players that work very hard. Julian Draxler was probably close to being at world-class level some years ago. Could they get that sort of thing out of him again? Potentially. But he's certainly got the talent. It's just whether or not he's got that sort of drive and determination for someone like Bielsa to employ him in his setup.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm unsure about this one because Pochettino could come in and reignite him into the team, and he could do well. But I don't think he's going to have that high energy that Leeds are looking for, or whether he will come in with that experience and almost balance that team out to make it have a bit more stability in the midfield. Because they score a lot, but they also leak a lot.
Yeah. So for me, this type of transfer is, if Leeds could stay up this season and get into next season in the Premier League, these are the type of players or the names that they would need to start attracting to kind of, because what's happened to Sheffield United is kind of almost is a blueprint for, you've got through that first season. Nobody really knew how you played. You've managed to kind of almost, conjure a way of staying in the league. But then when you get found out, and you get found out quite quickly in the Prem, people say, right, I can see that sort of style. We can deal with that. They'll do all their homework. So they need to maybe change how they play in the future. I think the way they play now is going to be enough to keep Leeds in the division, but I don't think they'll be able to do that next season in the same way without being picked off like how United have picked them off. We've picked them off. Teams who know how to play that type of system will get the better of it. So they need another way of playing. And this may be a type of player that could give them that ability to play a different way.
Yeah, because I noticed in the last few games they're going to be picked off by the big teams now, because I think the big teams went to it realising that they don't change their style of play no matter who they play now, because we've seen them play. We've seen them like Tottenham. You just go back and watch that Man United game. See, they just come out.
Horrible.
Yeah, they just come out, attack you, and it was very easy for them to pick the pockets and just I think we left all three attackers up the field all game, so it was very easy to get goals.
Sure. And they haven't quite got the talent levels. They've got some very good players, but that talent level of real European class, world class level, Leeds don't have that. They've got some very good players. I watched the likes of Calvin Phillips is in there, and there's a couple of others that I really like. Ayling, I really like the look of. So they've got some players who, if you balance that up with some more talent and can get them working in that sort of group, they could really have a good shot at it maybe next season. But it's all about staying in the division for Leeds. Would he bring in someone in like that now without a pre-season? Would that help their cause? I'm not sure it would, because they've got a way of playing, as we've both talked about. And for someone like Draxler to come in who probably doesn't play that way, you're going to have to get him up to speed to play that way. That's going to take 2-3 months at least to do that. Your season's done by the time he's got up to speed.
Yeah, that's it. Right, then we'll move on to the next one. Just to make you laugh. Origi to Inter Milan. I think we said off air that we don't really see Origi about much. But do you reckon that's time for him to go then? Because he now Jota's in at Liverpool. He's not going to see much game time.
No.
But also interesting is he going to get ahead of Lukaku and Martinez at Inter Milan because they score goals for fun?
No, he's not going to get ahead of
Yeah.
him. So he's not getting ahead of Lukaku. Definitely not. Lukaku's proven goal scorer and has played regular football. Origi's a bit part player. He's been a bit part player at Liverpool. He scored some important goals, but that's what bit part players do. When you come in, you want to come in and do something, and he's done that a couple of times. As a regular starter, I've not seen him start 5, 10, 15 games in a row. So for that reason, Inter would only take him as a backup. Is he the best backup that they could get? There's better players out there that they could get, in my opinion, Inter Milan. So yeah, it might be good for the player. It's a change of scenery, different league, different way of playing. But for Inter Milan, is he going to make a difference to their first 11? Is he going to improve them? Is he going to improve the first 11? No, definitely.
No. I struggle with this one because I don't even think he'd get in ahead of the bench strikers at Inter Milan. I was quite surprised when I saw this story. He strikes me as a player that would sit on the bench for Everton.
Yeah.
He would sit there behind Calvert-Lewin. If Calvert-Lewin's injured or there's a League Cup game or an FA Cup game that's early in the rounds, then yeah, he'd get a spot or a chance. But yeah, I can't. He's a player you chuck on when you're 3-0 down with 10 minutes to go, isn't he? Really?
He's a good squad player, and I say good squad player because, like I said, he scored some important goals for Liverpool, so you know that he can play at that level, but consistently play at that level. I've not seen it, so I don't know if you could take that chance to say, yeah, we're going to buy Origi and he's going to be our number one striker. Not at a top 6 team in the Premiership. I don't think at any top 6 team in any of the strong European leagues either. So it's a squad player. If they got him on a free or close to free or very, very cheaply, yeah, give him a chance. Maybe it might be good for him.
Yeah, no, definitely. So I think that one probably I don't know, maybe a loan deal. I
can't see that even happening. I can't even see that.
Yeah, I struggle. He's one of them players where you just don't know where he's going to go because you don't know what he wants, because he could look at himself and say, yeah, I am just a squad player and I'm happy to be here. But Liverpool could be turning around and say, well, yeah, you are a squad player, but we kind of want a better squad player. I don't know. I don't know how this rumour's come about, but
someone like Origi would, and I'm not being disrespectful when I say it, would probably go to a lower half Premiership team and make their first 11. A West Brom, a Fulham, Crystal Palace, not even Crystal Palace, because they've got decent players up top as well. You're really looking at teams that are struggling with a forward player, that are really struggling to have someone who's consistently banging the goals in. Goals are hard to come by in most leagues anyway. I don't believe Origi's a proven goal scorer. As I said, he scored important goals. Would he have given a run in a team, let's say it was a Leeds, in fact, someone like that, if he was given a consistent run, would he bang 5 goals, 10 goals, 15 goals a season? I don't know is the answer. But for someone like Inter Milan to want him or to even tout to get him, I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that.
I think Conte just loves Premier League players, if I'm honest. He seems to sign them all. He kind of reminds me of Batshuayi at Chelsea.
Yeah.
He's a player that I always wanted him to do well. He looked like a proper striker. Yeah. And then you notice that he goes on loan to Crystal Palace. He scores a couple of goals, then he goes on loan to, I think it was Dortmund. And then he went back to Palace, and then even Palace weren't starting him.
It kind of tells you everything, doesn't it? And that's why he came from Chelsea, and when he was at Chelsea, you looked at him and thought, "Well, when he's come on, he looks like he's all right. It's this guy. He scored some goals. He looks all right." Go to another team and expected to play week in, week out. They're not the same, and this is the same sort of boat that I put Origi in. If he went and was playing every single game for that team, I don't know if we'd see a massive change in this striker.
Yeah,
not for me.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's probably it for our limited transfer news for today.
We were struggling, but it's all still news. It's all news.
Yeah, that's it. Well, guys, if you're watching, Sam's going to be jumping on the Premier League reaction show. Is that kicking off at 8 o'clock?
8 o'clock, yes, I believe so.
8 o'clock, yeah. Yeah, make sure you subscribe, share, like, comment, all that. Keep the numbers going up, and we'll see you tomorrow on our next transfer show. Right.
Take care, Adam.
Catch you later, mate.
See you soon. Nice one.